and so they don't want them to be in their life or anything like that.
So Nathan, talk a little bit with Dylan about what makes him think that these swans are going to change their life.
That they're telling them.
So it'll be interesting to see if the kids can pick up that it was just one peacock that was starting it all. So we should listen into their conversation and just go back and reread. Because if they keep saying peacocks.
So this was the place where I wasn't going to have them converse out loud. But
Okay.
should I?
Not
Because we
necessarily.
might want to know that. But I think there may be an opportunity for that again.
Okay, and keep going with the pace.
So we should.
Yep.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1, your talking is done. Nice job. So I heard some interesting conversations, and I thought about that peacock who was talking about, and I think Mem Fox even says it, the first and most foolish peacock, raising his voice that the swans might hear. And that he was giving, and what I heard was that they were coming up with all these reasons why the swans are going to be changing their lives. Shall we go on? The swans, in fear, heard these fighting words and sharpened feathers of their own in even greater numbers and concealed them cleverly among the rushes and the reeds. Both sides, for safety's sake, continued to add to their weapons. But in dismay, each discovered that the more arrows they acquired, the more terrified they became. At night in the gardens and on the lake, no bird slept. Every sound made their hearts race. Every movement made them tremble. So I'd like you to turn and talk about that. They've raised all these, they've got all these weapons, but they're still afraid. What are you thinking? I have to put my gum back in. Be coughing. I'm going to go over to this little Josh.
Well, you want to build conversation, right?
Uh-huh.
So it might be interesting to just do a quick sweep to hear the
right.
different ideas instead of
Okay.
individual kids. So let's just kind of.
And they made things to know so they did a lot of things. And then they made things because they might be trying to work about the next room.
Oh, you're taking notes and I'm not. Thank you.
You're like projecting, right? Well, what she said was they never saw a sound. A sound made them frightened, and a movement made them
Tremble. They trembled. And they both had lots of weapons. And yet they were still scared. Talk to each other about that.
What's nickel, right? Okay.
If they're trying to make that, maybe the feathers is the peacocks and the swans, and then the peacocks.
Now, how often do you jump in and redirect?
If I'm just scanning to hear, because you
just
want to build
listening.
conversation, I'm just going to listen and see what, because we have some different theories. Is this a waste of time? They're trembling. You know, who did, I can't remember what Nicole said, but it was smart. Alyssa said something like they're just building all these weapons. You know, so she's saying why they're scared.
There's a lot of people here, and so I like that because they're scared. No, because they're scared. Think about it.
So how do you think you'll open the conversation? This is where you wanted to open conversation,
Yes,
right?
it is. I was thinking I would like him to maybe do the one about the weapons and building up the weapons, and that then they're still scared, and then see if they can build off of that.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Sure.
3, 2, 1, your talking is done. Thank you. Miss Casey and I did is just listen in on everybody's conversation on this particular idea. So I'm going to give you a chance to talk to each other about it. And what I want you to focus on is here is this group of peacocks, swans, and they start building weapons, feathers, that become weapons. And the more they have, it seems that they become even more frightened. And I want to find out from you, what's happening? The more weapons they have, the more frightened they are. What are you thinking about? Alyssa, you want to start?
Well, I didn't say this in the conversation, but because they're using their feathers to make weapons, and if it's getting like closer, and well, they have feathers on them, and then if they keep on taking them off to just to make weapons, then they won't have enough feathers to keep them warm.
You guys are fun. You want to say something to that, Josh?
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's I think it because they get more scared because I think they might be getting into a war and they might not be friends anymore, so they could so they'd all be sad.
So what makes them say they might be getting into a war?
So what makes you think that they're going to get into a war?
Because they're making all these weapons and they're not using them yet, but why would they make them all just to let them sit around and let them be scared?
So who wants to say something to Josh about that? Josh, would you say that last part just one more time so we can build off of that?
Well, I think because why would they just make weapons and let them sit around and have them be scared?
Josh?
Well, what I'm thinking is that the more they make, I'm thinking the reason they keep making more and the reason they keep getting more afraid is because I think they think that when they make weapons, the other ones are noticing that they're making weapons, so the other ones are also making weapons. And the reason I think they're also afraid with every movement of the night is because the reason they're staying up is because they're they're making sure that the other birds don't try to do like a night ambush hit during the night. So they are like the other ones are like unprepared, unnoticed. Like if they're helpless because they're sleeping. That's why they're awake, and every time they hear the noise, they like get their weapon because they don't know if they're around or far away, so they go like. I heard.
So what do you think about that? But they still have enough what?
Let's call
Yeah,
it.
I will. They still have enough weapons to protect themselves no matter what. What are you thinking, Jessica?
I was kind of thinking that what Alyssa was saying, that if they keep taking off their feathers to make weapons, and they will have enough left to keep them warm.
What do you think about that?
But it kind of goes along with the title of the story. It's it's called Feathers and Fools, and they're being fools because then they're taking all their feathers off.
So taking their feathers off is making them fools. What do you think about that?
I think that the reason why they're scared is because they're afraid of the movement, and they're scared to go to sleep because if one of the kinds of birds go to sleep, then the other kind will sneak up and attack them by surprise.
Kind of like what Josh said.
You want to add? But that's similar to what Josh was saying. Nicole?
I was thinking that they should just be happy with who they are and not try to be like someone else.
So can I ask her a follow-up? So students, did you hear what Nicole just said? That the swans and the peacocks should just be happy with who they are and not be, what was that last part?
Like trying to be like someone else.
So what led up to the peacocks and the swans building all these weapons in the first place? Let's wait until we have a few more hands, because I know there's a lot of people who don't have their hands up. But let's think back, like what led up to the swans and the peacocks getting in this big situation to begin with? Should we have them tell their partner?
Sure. We'll turn and talk to your partner.
What led up? And again, we'll just scan. Let's start this side.
The